I'm Brooke Wagner, and welcome to Secrets to Depos 201. In this transcript overview, we're going to talk about the Uniform Format Manual, notices, information sheets, and how a transcript looks from the beginning pages to the proceedings to the ending pages and the components therein. The Uniform Format Manual, or the UFM, is located at texascourts.gov JBC. There's a tab for court reporter certification and then statutes for rules for court reporters, and that's where you'll find the Uniform Format Manual. The manual has really anything that a court reporter needs to know in terms of margins, spacing, what parentheticals to use, what beginning, ending pages should look like in the transcript. So really it's one of our best used resources. You're going to want to print it out for yourself, both the figures and the actual manual where it goes into explanation of how to do things and what's expected for our field. So take advantage of that and go check it out at texascourts.gov. So this is the first page of the Uniform Format Manual, the figures or examples. I'm going to show you over the next couple of seconds the first couple of pages of the template that you should use. Everything that is highlighted that has a little caret, which is the little triangle looking item before a word, those are things that need to be a type of form field. It's something you need to fill in on every transcript. It's a lot of highlighted items. Don't let that scare you. It's repetitive, and once you define for that particular transcript the witness's name, it's going to pre-populate in every place that you see the witness's name. And you can do that for the attorney's names, for addresses, for all sorts of things. So it really makes short work of what's going to look maybe a little overwhelming at first. But these are literally our templates that we're supposed to use, the guidelines for how the beginning and ending pages need to look. You can, after you take advantage of looking at the UFM, you can then create for yourself in your own software those pages so that you can create a template. This is the title page. Everything in yellow you need to fill in. This is the appearance page. And I'll go into more explanation of these when I show you the example of a transcript in a little bit. This is the index template. This is the beginning of the proceedings. This is where your transcript actually starts when you're at the deposition. Okay, when your deposition has ended and you're off the record, the back half of the transcript is your ending pages. Court reporters have two choices. If the witness is going to read and sign his transcript, then we put on pages for reading and signing. If the witness is going to waive reading and signing, then we have different certification pages that show that information. It's real simple though, because it sounds a little complicated right now. If your case is taken under the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure, most of the time they're going to read and sign. If it's under the federal rules, most of the time they're going to waive because it's just already part of the rules. And we'll look at a notice. That information is given to you before you go to the deposition, so it's very easy to figure out. This is an example of when a signature has been waived. So this is the reporter certificate. It would go right after the ending of a transcript, and I'll now show you the page that follows. And this is the page that follows. It finishes out the information of how much the deposition costs and the attorneys who were present and your signature block down at the bottom. If you are going to have the witness read and sign, then this is the first page of the ending pages that you would put, which is the changes in signature. Again, you're gonna, I only had one option here to highlight, but after you would write witness's name, you'd actually write the witness's name and then the date of deposition after that section. The next page is the notary's page. After the notary becomes your reporter's certificate, and so again you would fill in everything that is yellow, but if you look, it's very repetitive of what your first page was, so a lot of the information is just going to pre-populate if you created a define for things like the witness name, and you can copy and paste your style. This is the next page in the reporter certificate. It's just showing again that who was present for the deposition in terms of lawyers, what date you certified it, and your witness block. Your signature block with the court reporting firm information. And then it starts the next document. I prefer to put this on a separate page, but the further certification under Rule 203 TRCP begins. And this is the completion after the rule that shows that either the transcript did come back or it didn't come back from a witness. And so you would fill in the yellow and the date that you certified it. So as you can tell, there's quite a bit to create and to fill in when you do a transcript, but really it goes by very quickly. The fill-in forms that you're able to write in the witness's name once pre-populates throughout the whole transcript, and like I said, for all the other areas, really once you fill out the first page or two of your beginning pages, the rest of the beginning and ending pages are almost completely filled in. So I think when I do a deposition, it takes me about 15 minutes to create the beginning and ending pages, so because I already have that good solid template. So don't let the amount of highlighting discourage you. Each transcript won't take hours just to do those first couple of pages, but it is important to be familiar with them and to create a really good template. And we're going to talk about how to do all these things in more detail as the videos go on, but for now I just want you to be exposed and be aware. This is what a beginning page looks like, a title page, what a caption is, what we mean by the body of a transcript or the proceedings section, and then when someone says, well, you need ending pages, and what is a read and sign, to be familiar with that verbiage. Now we're going to look at a notice to a case. So this is a notice to a deposition that I took, and I'm going to show you the transcript or parts of it that I made, but this was what kicked it off. So when you agree to take a deposition, the court reporting firm is going to send you the documents that they have, and so they're going to send you the notice, which is what this is an example of, and also some other information that they usually provide a court reporter. So let's look at the notice. So the notice is sort of like a letter, and the attorney requesting this deposition is going to send out the notice, and it's a legal instrument used to bring someone to a deposition, so either a party or just a witness. It starts off with the cause number, the caption of the case, or the style. Those are all synonymous. Caption and style are synonymous together. So this is cause number 372921. Colby Anthony Tracy and Sean Tracy are the plaintiffs versus Stephen Jeffrey Kirk, the defendant. This is in County Court at Law number 3, Bexar County, Texas. Next is the title of the document. This is a Rule 199 Discovery Request Notice of Intention to Take Oral Deposition of Colby Anthony Tracy and Ducis Tecum. Subpoena Ducis Tecum is usually the phrase you hear, and that just means that they want the witness to bring documents if they happen to have them. I didn't attach the subpoena Ducis Tecum to this example, but it's great to get some extra spellings from it, but you're not responsible for anything out of it. So we also know that this is an oral deposition because of how they titled this. If it was videotaped, they would have said videotape and oral deposition. This notice is being sent to the plaintiff, Colby Anthony Tracy, by his attorney, Trent, and the address of Trent. So you already have that great piece of information that we're taking the plaintiff's deposition and who the plaintiff's attorney is, which is Trent. The next section of the notice is the paragraph part explaining when, where, how we're going to take the deposition. So, in this section down here below, we have that it's by Rule 199. That really doesn't mean anything to a court reporter, but Texas rules, that's going to be taken by the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure, is very important to us. Just by them stating that, we know then that the witness will read and sign the transcript unless stated on the record differently, and the witness will have a default of 20 days to read and sign. If they state on the record that they want 30 or a different number of days, then that will change the amount of time they have, but we need to know that. This will be the oral deposition. Again, if it was videotaped, they would mention that in this paragraph. It'll be taken on February 24th at 10 a.m. at the law offices of Trent Rowell, an attorney at law in Stockton, Texas. So you can already get out your Google Maps and you can figure out where that location is. If you continue reading down below in the paragraph, it says the witness is instructed to produce documents requested in the attached Ducis Tecum to the law offices of before February 22nd. Again, it just gives you a name of one of the law firms involved, so it's just another piece of information that you can take with you. So you get this very early on, usually the day before you're going to go to a deposition, so it gives you a good outline of some names and things to go on. So this is the second page of the notice, and to continue the letter concept, the notice has been signed by Mr. Goldman. This is all his contact information, and that he represents the defendant, which was Stephen Kirk. And then below that is the certificate of service, which shows us all the attorneys that would have received this notice. And we can tell that Trent received this. The blessing of the certificate of service is that if there are multiple law firms listed down below, it means you have a chance of making more money on that transcript than if only two parties are involved. So more names is a really good thing, but at least you know you've got two parties, Mr. Goldman and Trent. Alright, so this is a resource worksheet that the court reporting firm that hired the reporter sent out. And we have the fictitious name of AAA Reporting and Video up here at the top with their contact information. If you get to the job, or if you're trying to make your way to the job and you're lost, it's helpful because our phone number is on this sheet. You're going to want to print out the notice, any information sheets. This just happens to be a resource worksheet. But any documents you get from the court reporting firm, when they hire you, you want to print out and take with you. It's just easier than trying to go through your electronic archives to find things. So a resource worksheet, sometimes called a job sheet or an information sheet. Again, those terms are interchangeable, but what this means is this is the document from the court reporting firm who hired you and all the details of the job. So it starts off with the name of the court reporter and their contact information, the job number that the court reporting firm assigned to this job. You need that so that when you turn in the job, you get to repeat those numbers on the various pages so that they can track it. The job date, the job when it's due, and it's not a guarantee this is when it's due. If you get to the job and you find out that it's a rush, then that due date changes. The time that that's supposed to start, you always want to be at the job a minimum of 30 minutes early. So the job time is 10. I was there at least by 9:30. And then there's a notation that's Stockdale just because that's out of town. The name of your witness is next. The case or style is next, and then the cause number. After that, the location of where we're going to have the deposition and the phone number, which is very helpful. I especially love this information because most of the time you're meeting at a law firm, and it's usually a party to the case, an attorney who represents a party, so it already gives you a piece of information for your appearance pages. No video was requested, so a videographer is not going to be at my deposition. That's important because I now know how to set up. I have a choice of one or two chairs depending on if a videographer is present, and again, we will at a later date discuss why that's important. This is a client, is Goldman Phipps, and their information. So since I know pretty much there's only two parties involved in this case, and I've got both lawyers, their contact information listed on this page, it makes my research so much simpler. And so Mr. Peterson probably will be the attorney who appears at the deposition. I've already got his email. It's great. One last piece of information that I'll need. Below that, they give some general guidelines that they want the videographer, the court reporters and the videographers to follow. And this is pretty much printed on every time they do a worksheet. So it's not specific to this is your first job or your 40th job. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the same little information. But it's good to always read and to be familiar with. You want to always check your information sheet that the court reporting firm provides. So this resource worksheet, you want to compare it to the notice that we just went over. You want to be sure that they both say the same date, the same time, the same location, the same witness. Sometimes information changes. They will reschedule a deposition. They thought it was going to be at 9. Now they want it at 10:30. So you just always want to be sure that the time is correct. So this is an example of a transcript that I did in February of 2012. It was the oral deposition of Colby Anthony Tracy. And this is the title page. Your first page of your transcript is called the title page. At the top of the title page is what's called the cause or the caption. And that lists the cause number, which in this case was 372921, the name of the plaintiffs, Colby Anthony Tracy and Sean Tracy, versus the defendant. The defendant was Stephen Jeffrey Kirk, and that it's for County Court at Law number 3 in Bexar County, Texas. So again, this is a style or a caption of a case. Then below that, you have the title of the page. So the oral deposition of Colby Anthony Tracy, February 24th, 2012, volume 1 of 1. And down at the bottom of the page is the paragraph explaining all the details related to the deposition. So again, it's going to restate that this was the oral deposition of Colby Anthony Tracy, who's the witness. It was produced at the instance of the defendant. It was taken on Friday the 24th of February 2012, and the time that we took it. I'm the court reporter who took it, and that I did that with machine shorthand versus a voice writer, and that we were at the law offices of Trent Rowell, located at 112 West Ford Trans, Stockdale, Texas. We took it pursuant to the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure and any other provisions stated on the record. The second page of a transcript is titled the Appearances page. On this page is where you list everyone who is present for the deposition. The first section that you fill out are the attorneys and who they represent. So in this particular deposition for the plaintiffs, which was Colby Tracy and Sean Tracy, we had Trent as the attorney representing the plaintiffs. So we had his law information, the address, the telephone number. For the defendant, Stephen Kirk, we had Gregory Peterson. So again, we list all the contact information for the defendant's attorney. The next section after you've listed all the attorneys is also present, and that means you need to list everyone who was in the room but who was not an attorney. So as you can see, I've listed myself, so you list yourself as the court reporter. If we had a videographer, under also present, I would have put the videographer's name, comma, the videographer, an interpreter, their name, comma, the interpreter. If there was an insurance adjuster, I would list them under also present. And if any of the parties, any of the Tracys or Mr. Kirk, if they had been present, I would have listed them under also present as well. The third page in a transcript is called the index page, listed up here at the top. On the index page, you list the appearances, the name of the witness for the deposition that you took, the direct and cross-examinations and the attorneys who took those, the changes in signature, the reporter's certificate, and the further certification pursuant to Rule 203 TRCP. You list what pages those are going to fall on. The next section is about the exhibits. You're either going to list the exhibits that were marked in the deposition, and if there weren't any exhibits, you have a little parenthetical that you'll put that says that no exhibits were marked. And then you also have a section for requested documents and information, and the third section is certified questions. After the title page, the appearance page, and the index, you have what's called the proceedings. And the proceedings are where the moment that you or the videographer went on the record until the moment that the deposition has finished and you have gone off the record. In the proceedings, you have the Q&A that you're used to practicing in school. You also have colloquy, which is anything that's said outside of a Q&A scenario is colloquy. You have parentheticals that are unspoken, but they need to be in the transcript to explain what happened, an action, so that the verbiage or the transcript now makes more sense. You also have headings of examinations, and you have bylines. This is another page further in the transcript. And again, I just wanted to show you, you have your Q&A where the questioning attorney and the witness are talking to each other. You have colloquy where the attorney is speaking to someone other than the witness. You have the court reporter in colloquy saying we're going off the record. You have a parenthetical describing how long the break was taken for. And then you have colloquy again where the court reporter stated we're back on the record and the time. And then you have a byline. And the byline comes after any break in Q&A. So anytime you have colloquy or a parenthetical, you're going to also then create a byline that shows this is the attorney asking the questions. This was the last page in this particular transcript or deposition that I created for this witness before we went off the record. Again, I just want to show you, so we have the Q&A where the witness and the questioning attorney were speaking. We have colloquy where the attorneys say that they'll pass the witness and that they're going to reserve their questions. And the court reporter saying we're off the record. And then you have the parenthetical that says proceedings ended at and the time that we ended. This will be the end of the proceedings section of a transcript. Alright, so the first page of the ending pages of a transcript, when the witness is going to have the chance to read and sign the transcript, this is an example of the first page. The first page is called Changes in Signature, and you list the witness name and the date of deposition, and then they're given all this space to write in any changes that they believe should have been in the transcript. The next page in the ending pages that follows the changes in signature is the notary page. And this is the page that the notary is going to fill in all of this information, and that the witness is also going to sign up here. And so the only thing you have to fill in is the witness's name in about 3 different places. The reporter's certificate comes next in the ending pages, and it begins with the style caption of the case up at the top. It then has the title of reporter's certificate and the oral deposition, the witness's name, the date, and the volume. And then begins the paragraphs of where the deposition was taken, who took it, and how long. So it begins on this page and it continues on to the next page. This is the second page in the title of the certificate, and again it just continues on with where the deposition was taken, that the deposition transcript was submitted to the witness, and the date and location that was submitted to, the amount of time that each party used while deposing the witness, who they represented, that you further certify that you are not counsel nor related to nor employed by any of the parties, and the paragraph for further certificate, which will follow on to the next page. So this is the second to last page of the certificate, and so it finishes saying that Rule 203, that you'll complete that part of the certificate, and that it was certified by you on the date that you finished the transcript. Down at the bottom is what's called a signature block. And this has your name, your CSR number, your date of expiration, the court reporting firm that you took it for, their firm registration number, and all of their contact information. So the last page of a transcript, when the witness will have the opportunity to read and sign their transcript, is called a further certification pursuant to Rule 203 of the TRCP. TRCP just means Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. So this page is what is supposed to come back to the court reporting firm when it's been sent to the witness for reading and signing. And this is what is going to eventually be filed with the court to show that this deposition was sent to a witness, that it was or was not returned in the amount of time of 20 days or 30 days or whatever the attorneys decide, and how much the transcript cost and who was responsible for those charges. And then again, your signature block, so your name and then the court reporting firm's information. Thank you for watching the transcript overview. I know some parts were a bit repetitive, but I hope now you can see that creating the beginning and ending pages of your transcript, that there's resources to go to like the UFM, that you're going to get the notice and the resource worksheets from your court reporting firm, that you're going to have the tools every time you go to do a job to create those pages. The information might seem a little overwhelming right now, but we're going to pick it apart in upcoming videos and really get into some nitty-gritty of how you know what volume number your transcript is, what to do if you don't have any exhibits, what if you do have a requested information sheet, and so many other things that occur when you're on the job. This is just the beginning of a great training. Thank you for joining.